everyone, welcome. It is Wednesday, the Wednesday before Labor Day, and we are working on some new projects here at Painted. As you can see, I have taped up stuff behind me because we're going to be working on a couple pieces of furniture, and the first one we're going to do is spray. Now, before I forget, I want to remind everybody, please share. The more shares, the better chance I have of all kinds of people seeing us and making our group a little bigger and having a little more fun with this. The next thing I want to do is remind everybody I have classes coming up. So I have painted furniture classes and I have wall classes. Our first class coming up is Timeless Creations, which is September 23rd through 28th. Hang on, let me check that. That's what happens. I write myself a note and leave it across the way. So I have Timeless Creations September 24th through 28th. I knew that was off a day. I also have more classes coming than that. Timeless Creations is a 5-day 30 finish class with our unique one-of-a-kind professional practices dinner. It is down in Louisville, Kentucky at the Faux Finish School. We will also be teaching New World Finishing Paint. I got to check my notes because I can't remember anything anymore. New World Finishing Paint Furniture and New World Finishing Furniture and Cabinetry class. That is October 8 through 10. Again, down at the Faux Finish School in Louisville, Kentucky. Martin Allen Hirsch and I will be co-teaching that as well. Hey, Benjamin, nice to see you joining us. Our third date is for the IDEL Convention, which, if those of you who are not familiar with it, it's International Decorative Artisans League. It is a group, nonprofit group of decorative artists and painters who have a convention every year. This year it's in Greensboro, North Carolina, right near the High Point Market. I will be teaching a furniture class called Fabulous Furniture Finishes on October 21st. It's a one-day only class. Finishes just for that, nothing else. And let's move into our first piece here. I'm going to be adjusting the height of the tripod and everything so that everybody can see what I'm doing. So I actually figured out how to flip the camera today, so now I'm confused myself. Oh, thank you, Lori. Thanks for liking my earrings. So I keep leaning the wrong way, trying to lean into the camera to center myself, and I've managed to flip the camera, so I have to remember to leave the opposite way. But when I show you products, you'll at least be able to read them. So give me just a sec. I'm going to drop the tripod, and let's get this down to the furniture level. And here we go. And then I'm going to move it back so y'all can see what's happening here. And there we go. So you can see I have my turntable set up in my studio, and behind me I have tape and drape up all over the surfaces because I already sprayed this black with black SetCoat today. I'm going to be kind of having to peek in to see because I've now put this so far away I can't see it easily. But I want you to be able to see me spraying. So I've sprayed this black with black SetCoat. It's had its recommended 4 hours of dry time. And then I'm going to start a double color bronze. I'm going to do two very, very, very light coats so that I get two metals. First, we're going to be using SetCoat Metallic Bronze. I've already thinned it a little bit, about 20% with some water. I've poured it into my cup, and I'm using, I know, you've all seen me use this before. This is my lazy sprayer. This is the one that is the Wagner little furniture sprayer that I bought at Home Depot. Why do I use this so much? Quite frankly, it's because in the studio, it's a lot easier to use than the big sprayer. I don't have quite that much room. I have a great big sprayer with a 8-gallon compressor and my spray gun from a Nest Iwata, and quite frankly, it's more work than I can deal with to get it all hooked up and put together, and the compressor is extremely loud. So this, while it makes noise, about the size of a little vacuum cleaner. So I'm not going to hold on to this because I need the other hand to turn my homemade furniture turntable. Oh yes, and as you can see, I taped off the top because I don't want to cover the top. I used a product that I get from my husband's company, but you can buy at hardware stores. It's tape and drape. This happens to be custom, so it's 12 feet long. It's way longer than I actually need for this project. And I'm going to remember to put gloves on, since everybody always says, Maury, why aren't you wearing gloves? Because I forget, because I'm a ding-a-ling. So, I'm going to turn this on. Forgive the noise, watch your ears. I'm not talking because it's pretty hard to hear me over the sprayer. Now, as you might have noticed, I gave that a really, aim this up so I can talk to you and see what people are saying. Hey, Jeff, nice to see you. Oh, Lisa, glad to see you here. As you saw, sorry, I'm going to put my head right in front of the light so it's not right glaring into the camera, although it's not the best lighting for me. I gave a very light spray of the bronze. Why? Because I'm going to dump out the bronze and put in some copper. So let me aim it back this way, preferably not too crooked. And let's see. It's a little hard. Now that I've flipped the camera, I'm not used to doing what it needs to do. There we go. So it's got a light coat of bronze set coat on here. And I am doing this the laziest way possible. I'm not emptying this out. I'm not changing my sprayer. I'm not doing any of that. And you can see I have my containers. I am taking this, I am putting what I didn't use back in the container. Sure I got as much of it in as I can. And closing it up. And I'm just going to take some more SetCoat. Maybe I'll open it up first. And pouring it right in. Now, there's bronze in there already. I'm just pouring in copper. Why am I doing this? A, because I'm already mixing two colors on here. B, it's the same product, so I know it won't cause adhesion problems. And C, it's a lot of work when I'm just doing a very close color change. So I'm going to put the whole thing back together. I want these two colors lightly spritzed on, and as soon as I'm done with this, I'll explain why. Well, that was genius. That's what happens when you don't put things together tight enough. It pops out. terrible paint job. And I did it on purpose. Actually, I have to hit one more spot that I can see I missed. All right, so I'm gonna come back over here, talk to everybody, get down where you all can see me. So, as you can see, that was truly a half-assed, sort of terrible paint job. There's a reason, because I'm gonna patina those legs. I'm gonna do a verdigris finish on them. And what I want is to have both metals on there. I want them flawed and imperfect because that's what happens to metal when it patinas. So if I get a little bronze, a little copper, a little black showing, it's all fine. That's exactly what I want to have happen. So now I have to let that dry a minimum of 4 hours before I can do anything else. Considering that it is 4:45 in Chicago, that pretty much means I'm letting it sit there. I'll go over and check to make sure that the tape and drape hasn't gone down too far and covered anything that I wanted a little metal on, because I haven't unplugged my sprayer yet. We got time. It's water-based. That plastic sprayer scrubs up really well. But I'll go and make sure I haven't missed any spots important, but it's really a sputtery finish. I'm looking at it now, and there's copper sputtered on top of bronze that's sputtered on top of black, and that is exactly what I wanted to happen. Hey Diane, nice to see you. Sandy, thank you very much. What color came late? I started with a base coat of black SetCoat, went on with bronze SetCoat, a light half-ass coat of that, went on with copper SetCoat, light half-ass coat of that. So really, I don't think even the metallic coats I did of the two metals is really a complete whole coat. So I'd say there's 1.5 coats of paint on here. So that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. I can see one place, I think the tape came down a little bit, so after I'm finished with you all, I'm gonna pull it up a little bit, zhuzh it up and make sure I didn't miss any spots. So this is a cool table, as you can see again. I hope I'm getting it so you can see it because I'm behind you. It is a really cool table. I picked this up for a song. The top is a disaster. So once I'm done with the bottom, I will redo the top. It's gonna need, I didn't even bother to sand out the mess because I'm planning to put some sort of texture on top. I haven't decided exactly what. Why? Because it'll come to me as I go along. And sometimes that's how the day goes. Hey, Kathleen, nice to see you. Oh my God, I can't believe I read your name without my glasses on. Yes, the gum table, yes. That was also the table that, if you all saw my post today, when you're buying furniture, check underneath. Because yeah, there was a big wad of gum stuck to it. What is wrong with people? You don't put gum under tables. That's what park benches are for. All right. So we're gonna move on to the bench, and I'm gonna bring the, I'm a little wobbly today. I think I have to tighten up the neck on the tripod. This is what it is to work on your own. Things just get jiggly. And with me, that's not unusual. So, if you all saw the post notifying you that I was going live, you saw the picture of the kids' bench that I'm working on. And I've had this piece for a couple months now. It's been sitting in my studio. I've been putting stuff on it, using it as a prop for the tripods, because I haven't figured out what I wanted to do with it. And today I finally figured it out. It's a rustic toy chest, very inexpensively made, particle board back, sort of funky. It looks almost like the stuff you make decks out of, but it's not that bad. So I thought I'm going to go with a rustic finish on this. And, you know, when I'm not finishing something for a client, I don't have to stick to a plan. So I've been over the plan for this about 7 times in my brain today. And what I'm going to do is we're going to do a little bit of decoupage, the way I find to be extremely strong. And then it allows me also to paint over it. So we're going to start with the decoupage, but you're not going to see a whole lot of that. It's going to have a lot of color put over it, and maybe my next live will get to the color part. But the first thing we're going to do is put some old music on here. Now, this is a very old Christmas songbook. Wasn't exactly what I was looking for, because I think sometimes if you read Christmas music, it kind of makes people limited to what they think it is, you know, for the season. So I'm pulling out pieces that have the least familiar pieces of music. I have not done this because I figured you'd like to see my process. So I'm going to skip Silent Night. I've got Wonderful Night, Holy Night, Peaceful Night. Oh, I'm going to skip Away in the Manger. Oh, how about Sleep Holy Babe? Again, you're not going to see the titles of all of this, but what I'm going to be doing is making sure that they're not super familiar, so people don't, when the exposed parts, people don't get locked into what the music says. Okay, and let's see, here we go. Didst thou leave my throne? Came upon, trying to picture, oh, One Fair Morn, that's not a familiar one. Sorry for the noise in the background. Again, I am not the only person in this space. Lowest star, ye holy, ye sages hoary. Oh, I won't even make a smart remark about that. Yep, there's some great pieces in here that I'm working hard to find, and I'll pull some more in a minute. Let's see. I'm trying to find something that's... Listen, good Lord. There we go. And you know, some of these have really nice illustrations in the top of them, so that's a nice thing to have too. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'll pull this out of the way. I don't do my decoupage the way everybody else does. Why? Because I've learned the hard way. I know you're not seeing anything because I'm opening a bucket. I use, here we go, let's get it in so I can do this, SetCoat Clear. SetCoat Clear penetrates the paper and then does a great job of sealing up so it's easy to paint on again. So I take, and you have to do, you need gloves for this. You must have gloves for this because it's super messy. Unless you're dumb like I was the first 15 times I did it and made myself a glove out of SetCoat. So I am just brushing on SetCoat Clear. SetCoat Clear, by the way, is the same formulation as SetCoat, and for those of you who are not familiar with it, it was designed so that if you were working on a job and the paint base color was perfect and you didn't want to change it over to SetCoat, but you knew it wasn't going to work well for what the client, what you needed to do on it, you just put a coat of SetCoat Clear and the glazes and the products slip across them nice and neatly, just like they do with SetCoat. And here I am, I'm just brushing this on. Now what happens is the SetCoat will soften up the paper, and then I will take, where is it? Oh, it disappeared out of my reach. Where did it go? What happens on a daily basis? Everything moves on me. Okay, here we go. My X-Acto knife disappeared in the cleanup. Okay, so what the heck happened there? There's no blade in my X-Acto knife. Of course not. Well, this will work just fine. No wonder it disappeared. I didn't have a knife put together. So I'm going to take these ridges here. They're very deep. So I'm just going to take a blade and cut through. And I do this when it was a little less wet. And then I'm going to take a little more SetCoat Clear, brush it on. about to see why you need the gloves. I take my hands and I smooth it down and I mush it in here into the creases, and then I bend it around the bottom. And see, I don't worry about these openings that are in here right now. It's not going to be a problem because I'm going to be painting over it. If this were the only thing, I'd have been a lot more careful, but it's not. So then I'm going to take some more here, and I'll take another piece and I'll stick it down there. Let me see. See how much easier this is going to cut when it's not quite so wet. Yeah, that worked a little easier. It wasn't quite so wet, so it cut a little easier. And because I'm putting this on thicker, and I'm going to get down under here and roll this under. Now I can shred this up. I can put it on diagonally. I'll wrap these. Let's see. And it's going to wrap around the top here. I prefer not to put it upside down. So let's do this. Because I'm going to get the inside wrapped too. Okay. And I'll do the inside when I flip this upright. Where did I put my razor blade? There it is. So I'm going to cut this here. Okay, cut, and again. I'm slapping this on like it's wallpaper glue. And you gotta smooth it out. You don't want the bumps and stuff in there because the wrinkles are not a big deal. Bumps kind of are, because bumps mean they're not adhered, you know, bubbles. But wrinkles just mean you've pushed the paper down and it's creased, which I like. I love how that looks. I love that. That's really nice. Get a little more under there. But see, all that goo on my hands, now you know why you absolutely have to have gloves on, because otherwise you'll make a hell of a mess. Which, you know, is every day for me. So I will do this. I'm gonna slap this on here. Now this will take a moment to do the cutting because now I'm gonna, I could do it that way and it would cover the whole thing top to bottom. But since I've been pretty organized, I'm just going to go up here a little bit. Sometimes you have to think about these things and make sure you're placing it right. And then make sure we got enough under here. Okay, so I've got that there. Whoops, I tore a little bit over there. That's not what I meant to do. Oh well, it'll be fine. I'll fix it. It won't be seen anyway. So, where did I put my razor blade? Oh Lord, I set things down every time and I can't find them again. All right, here's my little break in the wood here. That wants to tear. It'll be buried. This is, I will say very much that, you know, this different pieces of wood on here makes for a challenging surface. You know, because I don't want to leave this flat because that won't wear well, and in the long run it'll get holes poked into it. So I have to actually cut down and deal with the separate boards. I know this because I've done it the wrong way before. Okay, so I've got that there. And even if I've got some tears, again, like I said, I'm painting over this, so I'm not worrying about it too much. I just want to get it all smoothed down and pushed on. And when I've finished laying everything flat, I will come up here, trim this piece here and here, and fold it down like a Christmas present, like a Christmas present. Oh, I'm so witty with this. Well, at least I entertain myself. Let's see. I don't want to do. Let's try this. Okay. The thing is, if this drips into the inside, I can clean it up. It's not a big deal. Okay. Put my brush down. This is the hard part because now I've covered up all the easy to see lines. And I have to hope I'm hitting it the right way without making too big a mess. My ideal would have been some other piece of music, but I think I used it all up. So all I have left is Christmas music, which, again, as I said before, is lovely. But if people read too closely into what the music says, they think they're buying something seasonal, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. And if they want to buy it for Christmas, let them at it. But I don't want to lock this piece in as a strictly seasonal piece. Okay. I think this is old Christmas music, maybe out of my mother's piano bench, because we used to have a lot of really old stuff, and she played it when I was a kid, and then I learned to play it all, and then I stopped being able to read music. I had a bad piano teacher. Anybody on here from Bronxville might remember the piano teacher. I won't say his name. I don't even know if he's with us anymore. But he used to come to my house, and while teaching me music, he obviously just had lunch before showing up, and he always had baloney breath and then would burp baloney. It was gross. So, God love him, very gifted man. But I couldn't handle the baloney breath, and it always distracted me, and so I was always in trouble for not paying attention like I should. And the reason I can roll this, by the way, I have a set of furniture wheels under here. I'm a big one for trying to make things move around easily. So I'm going to brush this up, and since I left that one tall at the top here, I'll leave this one long at the bottom. I'll leave it a little longer so that it's not perfect lines everywhere. I like things that they break up a little bit. Yeah, never have a piano teacher who has baloney burps. Your kids will never pay attention to the music. It was too bad. He was such a good-looking man, but not really a nice person. And the baloney was just not bearable to a 13-year-old girl. Okay, I think my head's in the way. I'm sorry. Just getting close enough to see where things are. I can kind of feel it. The gloves can keep my fingers from feeling everything the way I need to feel them. And as you can see, I have a little lip here too, so I have to compensate for that. Okay, I think I got that. rub it down. All right, so I have a couple more pieces, and again, I will fold this over, but I also have this edge here that's the bottom rail, so I'm gonna have to do a little trimming to make it fit that. But you know, it's not your grandmother's decoupage. I'm not cutting out pieces of wallpaper, and you know, nothing wrong with that, but I always found that to look a little stiff. Ooh, I might have actually used up all my sheet music. Well, goody for me. So I'll grab another piece, since I don't know what some of this is. That's pretty cool. So I'm actually going to take this and tear it in half to kind of place it a little easier, since I have some small spots to fill in here. It'll make things easier for me. And of course, it's always all about me. If I'm not getting any of your questions or your comments, it's because the camera's facing down and I can't read on an angle. I am going to pick it up in a second and look and see what everybody has to say, if I have any questions that you need answered. All right, we'll stick that one there. Fold that over that. And tack it down here. Let's see if I can get it a little straighter. I'll get it up a little higher too, because I want it to go over the edge. Just like me, over the edge. All right. So I'm in here working on my studio, and I have to tell you, I don't know what my neighbors are cooking, but oh my God, it stinks. It's almost as bad as the onions. It smells like boiled cabbage, onions, and boiled beef, and it's not a charming smell. Things you have to deal with sometimes. All right, so that's tacked down. Let's take, let's take this one over in this corner, since I shredded the bottom of it a little bit. Can you see that? I kind of tore it a little bit, so how am I going to deal with that? I'm going to hide it. This way, tuck this in here, tuck this down. And I've actually managed to line it up so it's dead even with one of the pieces of board, so I don't even have to cut anything this time. Hooray! No cutting. I have to tell you, even if I was just to do it this way and do nothing else, this is a really durable finish. I mean, it's SetCoat. For those of you who are familiar with SetCoat, SetCoat's not only super high bonding, but it's super hard wearing. So let's take another piece. And this is what, again, I got these two little spots, and I've just made some interesting challenges for myself sometimes. I'd rather take a whole piece and fold it up, and then instead of shredding little pieces and patches together. Let's see. I thought I did that better than I did. So I'm going to have to tear it a little bit. Okay, let me get this up, and then anybody who's asking questions, I will pull the camera up so I can read it and then answer them. I am not ignoring you, I just can't read you from where I'm sitting. Okay, so there's that on there. And then there's the bottom half of this sheet of music. So I'll put this over here. And again, I'm trying really hard to not have it all line up too perfectly. Since I'm already going to be in a line here, I don't want this to be exactly in the same line as this piece. It looks too matchy-matchy. Not that anybody's going to see that by the time I'm done. piece I managed to get in, but I'm gonna have to cut that one. All right. So now this is going to dry. Any of the transparency you see is going to kind of fade out because of the way SetCoat works. And it's going to be a completely paintable surface, which is awesome with SetCoat. Now, I'm going to peel my gloves off because I'm not touching the camera with gloves coated. And I'm going to read what you had to ask me. All right, I'm going to scroll back a little bit. Kathleen, no, I'm not going to angle the paper. I want it kind of neatly because this shape of this box with all its boards is very angular, so that the angular pieces of paper fit best. Ooh, sorry, I'm flinging the camera around. Let's see. Hi, Sarah, nice to see you. Linda, nice to see you too. Linda, you asked, what am I using for decoupage medium? SetCoat Clear. If you didn't see it before, it dries to an eggshell finish. SetCoat Clear, because yes, I figured out how to turn my camera around. I may not do it again because it's messing me up. So SetCoat Clear dries to somewhere between eggshell and satin. It's highly paintable. It's not glossy. Doesn't dry sticky. It's not like Mod Podge. It's not like a lot of these other mediums that people use that dry kind of sticky, tacky. This dries hard to a nice, hard eggshell paintable finish. All right, let me scroll up a little further. Oh, yep, you saw SetCoat. So we're going to keep it kind of short today because everything I'm doing is fast, and I can't imagine that you want to sit here for the next half hour and watch me try to flip this around and glue more paper on, but understand that any place that I've had paper that is not sticking out or that it did not get laid down flat, it will be trimmed, it will be folded, it will be re-adhered so it fits neatly. And then, probably for my next live, I will show you what I'm doing. I'm also on the table legs, I'm doing Faux Effects Verdigris finish. Unfortunately, at this moment, I'm not going to show you all how to do it because why? That furniture class that I'm teaching at the Faux Finish School in Louisville, we will be teaching it there. So if you want to learn all the secrets to that, you have to come take my class. Right now I'm sitting here, I'm watching various tabletops dry. You saw my kind of crazy table the other day. Let me roll it down, see if you can see that. That's still curing because that has a second pour coat on it. I'll give the details of what I did with that as soon as it's dry. Oops, gotta flip things around so I can see everything. These goosenecks, I am much better at painting than I am playing with these gizmos here. So, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in here. Keep sharing the lives. Every time you share a live, it gives me a chance to share with more people. And it brings our community together better because I like nothing better than giving good information. I'm a really firm believer of whatever I show you, I want to show you so you don't fail using it. Quite frankly, if you fail when you use a product, you blame the product, not because you don't always know how to use it the best way. So I'm here to show you how these products work and how to use them so that you don't have failure on your jobs or on your projects, or whatever it is you're working on. Meanwhile, I'm gonna get back to my piece of furniture. I hope you all have a great week. I've had a lot of fun here with you today. Don't forget, I got classes coming up. I listed them at the beginning of the video. I will also put them in the header post for this video once I post it to the page. And of course, you can Facebook message me, you can post questions here, you can reach out and ask me any questions you want. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks. Bye.